white people, how can you be an ally? How can you be an ally? Because you just saw me discuss how, like, you know, if black people are no longer negative, then whiteness can no longer be the positive. You know, it's very like different sides of the axis, whiteness, blackness. We get this. Are we getting this? I hope we're getting this. I hope we're picking up something. Okay? And this is actually, not I just talked for 2 minutes. Okay. But you might be thinking, okay, well, you know, what am I supposed to do? If blackness is the good guy, I don't want to be the bad guy. Well, I don't want to be the bad guy. Now, actually, in here, let me just pause it so I can find it for you. No, because he actually could. Oh, his name is James Cone. He says, most whites, some despite involvement in protests, do believe in freedom and democracy, and they fight to make the ideals of the Constitution an empirical reality for all. It seems that they believe that if we just work hard enough at it, this country can be what it ought to be. But it never dawns on these do-gooders that what is wrong with America is not its failure to make the Constitution a reality for all, but rather its belief that persons can affirm whiteness and humanity at the same time. This country was founded for whites, and everything that has happened in it has emerged from the white perspective. What we need is the deconstruction of whiteness, which is the source of human misery in the world. Let me tell you something. And honestly, I find it to be rude that I'm about to be this gentle with white people as a union and as a grouping. But I want to make sure that this comes across the right ways, actually. Let me present myself better. I get it. I get it. People say white people are evil. White people are the root of all evil. And Sasha, maybe you are like, wow, I can't believe anybody would say this about me. I'm not my ancestors. It's not my fault. I love everybody. Okay, and I hear you, and I see you. I do. And I'm really being kind because I don't want you to, it can get tiring to hear so many bad things about, like your family members and you. Because you're white, you're one of those white people. And, okay, this sounds like kind of patronizing. Sorry, actually. Sorry, I'll be normal. But you also have to understand that when I do something like that, where I change my tone or I change my inflection, when people say whiteness is the root of all evil, you have to think about, and I get it, like, I know the history, I know everything that happened, you say you're not your ancestors, but to this day, you still benefit from what your ancestors did. The world is now racialized permanently forever because of that. So when I talk that way, when I say, let me change my tone and let me speak nice and lighter, part of it is because there really are going to be white people who are like, why is she yelling at me? Oh my God, this, that, the third. And so I feel like every, this is past white people, this is white people, this is men, this is cisgender people, this is heterosexual people, rich people. I mean, but if you're rich, like, be serious. Cut yourself out that equation, actually. Fuck that. Or they're like, oh, but not me. Please, guys, I'm nice. But first you have to understand your role as a collective, your role in the collective, because you are systemically an oppressor. Like, it's just, you didn't ask to be born white. You didn't ask to be born a boy. You didn't ask to be born straight. You didn't ask to like being born a boy. That's okay. But you are. And so that forces the world to move a certain way around you. Do you see? And so you need to understand that it's not like I'm specifically saying, Joshua, you are the root of all evil. You, yes, you. No. It is, I guess, not what you represent. I mean, like, it is. Sorry. It is. But I don't want to put, because So let me say it's the system behind you that you are a part of by force, by choice, whatever it is. Okay? And because I didn't ask to be born black, I didn't ask to be born a girl, you know, and all the other things in the back, but this is the, because to be a black woman is, and so when I do something like that, where I say, oh, because the world views me a certain way, I had to present myself a certain way to avoid the connotations that the world has put onto me for being a black woman. You know? Do you get what I'm saying? Because even if it's not you specifically, this one viewer, it could be somebody 2 doors down. Do you get it? Are you walking with it? Okay. Hopefully you understand that. Now, I'm actually going to post you a question. I feel like I had a point up earlier that I was like, I should have continued, like, but I'm going to keep going because I have this analogy, man. I have this analogy. Okay. Because, when I made up this analogy, I actually thought about it from the perspective of a black person, which still works because I'm a black person. I have white friends. We're just going to walk. And this is this analogy on the questions that you may need to ask yourself in being an ally. Okay? If I go to Target all the time, right? I got my girl Natasha. Oh, she's cool. She's chill. You know, like, oh, she's Irish. I fuck with Irish people. Like, come on. Right? Natasha's cool. She's chill. And now, I don't know how you guys feel about the term race war, so I'm not going to say that. But now the time comes for the revolution, right? And Natasha's cool. Natasha's chill. But her uncle is really messed up. Like, like, wait, actually, let me make sure, hold on. Actually, I don't need to pause because it's right here. Okay. Yes. She's nice. She gives me the employee discount. She be saying Black History Month to me. Happy Juneteenth, Happy Kwanzaa, all that stuff. Natasha's an ally. But now the time comes where I go to Natasha, I say, hey, your uncle, I've seen your entries, your Ancestry.com, he used to be lynching people. So I have to go fight him now. We have to band together and we have to fight against what your uncle does, what he represents, and he's a part of that. So we need to go burn your uncle down and all that stuff or whatever. And there's I'm gonna make a note in my list on violence. We're gonna get there. But that's not the point of this. I'm just saying this so that I remember, because I don't want to pick up my phone and type it out right now. Okay. So now, coming from the face of Natasha, oh my God, they're gonna like fight my uncle. Am I gonna get behind them, or am I gonna say, no, please, that's not, like, please, he made really good mashed potatoes last year at Thanksgiving, and then I even debated him. I was like, but don't you think that they're good people too? I know, like they just deserve to live like Uncle Wes, please don't, like, and he's so nice, and you just don't know, like, because I came from Mississippi, and so it's just really hard, and he's older, and so it's just really, and he's not gonna really get it, and so if we just keep trying, and that's just what everybody was doing back then, it's like, that's my uncle, like, please don't. Natasha, are you gonna say that, or are you not even gonna get behind me? Are you gonna tell me to get behind you? Because I think about this. I actually might even cry. I'm so serious. Back during 2020, protesting, and I literally, there was this clip, I don't even remember what it was, but it was this white woman, and I think maybe a white guy, and they're in front of the protesters. They're protecting them from the police getting to them, and the police don't touch the white people. They don't. And that's what y'all need to be on the. Are you willing to be on the front lines? Are you willing to be the barrier? Are you willing to stand in front of black people, of marginalized people, and say, you're not going to touch them. You have to go through me first. Because whiteness, the white supremacy, they're going to want to take every other little person out first. They're going to want white people to band together. Even the poorest white person can still be a racist. And if you ask Elon Musk who he's fucking with right now, well, but if you were to ask Elon Musk if he gonna fuck with a poor white person or a rich black person, he's like, actually, no, actually pause on that, because I actually have a different discussion to be had about black capitalism. But I want to say poor white person, poor black person, but that, I don't know. Race is a very hard. Okay, not race, class. Class is a very hard thing. So let's switch up the dynamic, and let's say a black man and a white woman. Let's say class out of it. If you ask Elon Musk if he's going to stand with a black man or a white woman who he wants on his team, he's probably going to pick the white woman. Even though he's a man, patriarchy, women are less than. Men should stick together, right? But whiteness is going to come first. Do you see? And also, Tina, make a note about, because I have thoughts to discuss on black men and masculinity, and let's make a note about how white people, and they do this, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is all from the Dome, and so, especially for things like other races, because I have there, you know how Asian men, East Asian men, at the very least, like they're portrayed often as effeminate, and like I feel like there's something to be said about how they use femininity, or what do the men say? They demasculinization as a diversive tactic between race. That's something to think about. But back to this thing. Okay. Natasha says, I got you. I'm going to protect you. I'm on the front. I'm ready for whatever. I'm going to, like, you tell me where to go when I'm running. Because don't try to lead the charge. Don't try to lead a charge. You can tell me if you got a shortcut to somewhere. You could say, let's cut through my aunt's backyard, you know. But don't slow it. Now, if you're on the front lines, guess what? Your work's still not done. It's still not done. They still gonna try to get you, okay? Because now, here's your uncle, here's all his racist friends, right? And they're like, Natasha, come on. Come on, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. Come on, you're not even really good. Just scooch on over to the side. Just let me pass through you. Just let me pass right by you. Just let me slip by you. And it's not even a big deal. You know those guys, they're this is what they do. They try to pit us against each other. And don't you think that they are really, not nice for doing that? Because you're my niece. And now look, you're trying to fight me. I would never hurt you. I would never hurt you. Come on. Do I look like that sort of guy? Do I look like that sort of guy? You've known me. I was there when you were born, Natasha. And you know what? Also, over here, I got, I could get you. You said you're busy you're tired of working at Target. Guess what? I have got record deals lined up, because I know you did that singing thing in the talent show. I've got things back here that you could have. So even better if you hopped onto our side and like maybe let us know what they got going on, because they're like right behind your ear. If you just did a little bit of that, I promise you, we'll make it worth your while. Just scooch on over, no hassle. Just scooch on over. That'll be one thing. Join us is even better. honestly, we will reward you. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be beautiful. And if you just let us just go right through, yeah. And let me just get my job done. I just gotta do it, because so much of it is systemic. It's like, oh, the fucking police. It's my job. I have to protect and serve. I have to. They tell me that I have to get this amount of undocumented immigrants. I just gotta go get them, or I'm gonna lose my job. I just got to. Wait. I don't know. I can't. I don't know. No, I'm actually. That's a black cop discussion, actually. So, but still, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be a cop. Never will. Never freaking will ever in my freaking life. But, because there's definitely, I know that there's that quota, you gotta get this money a day. If you're gonna, lose your job for that, but even men get scared by, other men being like, oh, he's a pussy, blah, blah, blah. But if you're gonna lose your job for that, then there is something to be said about how capitalism is still holding you hostage. Capitalism still... Okay, speaking of holding hostage, after I finish this, in the same piece, I'm gonna get to it. I at least need to touch on white people feeling hostage by white supremacy and all that stuff. Okay, but but yeah, that's, because it's that job loss factor is even more of an incentive. They're not already evil people who probably enjoy being in the system and not, but there's even more such where it's oh, I have to pay my mortgage, so I guess I gotta raid the library. It's just messed up. It's really... Oh, this got long. Oh, because I forgot to... Okay, hold on. That should be okay. I'm gonna do... Okay, that's definitely enough. That is definitely enough. Oh my god. Okay. This is a lot, but I feel like I used too little last time, and that's probably why I fell off. Oh, you fell off. Okay. Sorry. Yes, alright. But now you have the question of, okay, am I gonna say, you know what, he's such a good guy. Really, he gave me my favorite Christmas gift ever. He did, and he just knows me so well, and he is just so kind. You haven't seen him around kids the way I have. Are you going to give in to your uncle and step to the side because, of all those reasons? Are you going to go further, and are you going to say, oh, I really have been hating Georgia recently, and I don't know, I kind of, I feel like I could make it big, and, he's got connections, I see the head of Atlantic Records right there, I don't know, it could be big for me, and it's just I don't know. Or are you going to say, no, actually, I don't think I will. Actually, I think that I would. Okay. Actually, yeah, wanting to make the world a better place and wanting to stay secure in your morals and wanting to help those in lesser fortunate. Why? See, my brain, I'm even off, because why was I about to say all those reasons were not the same as some sort of dumbass record deal? Girl, it literally is even better. Wow. And something that really gets me is that white people will always be talking about, oh, the merit. And if you, what is it, when they took away DEI? Oh, not even white people. No, I have to save it. I have to save a discussion for black people killed by white supremacy. I want to say a word, but I'm not going to say it here because I'm directly addressing white people. And, I mean... yeah. Hopefully, if you're white, you're gonna watch the other things, but, this is, you're specifically my audience for this, so, I'm just not gonna say it. Sorry. Hold on, let me check my notes. Let me make sure I got the door. Okay. I've opened up the book a little bit, and to be a good white ally, you really have to relinquish the fact that whiteness is inherently better. Okay? And you really have to constantly question your subconscious and your thoughts. You need to make sure, because you may be moving in a way that you believe is all handy dandy, but you really need to question everything. And this goes even past white people, because I do it myself. I say hold on. I literally think so when I say hold on. Is that rooted in something? I say, is that the right word choice that I want to attribute to that? And things like that. Because yeah, white people in white areas, you're going to have better schooling. You're going to have, your dad's a banker and your mom's whatever, and maybe you think, but I don't know. Like, just systemically, you're going to be given better things, but it does not inherently mean you're better, because you can have everything on the platter. But Stacy, who lived in the projects, can be just as on level as you. And the only difference between you and Stacy is that she had to do it without all that guaranteed support, without all those guaranteed, not social mobility. I mean, yes, but like I'm saying, like connections, but maybe it's support is the same word, but I'm talking about like how if you are white, you might have an uncle who's a professor and they can read over your things. You might be able to get a tutor because you can afford that. Okay, well, this is very academic leaning. It applies to other aspects, but I feel like it's working, so I'm not gonna like stop. And if you graduate, maybe not on the dean's list, because God forbid, maybe your grandpa could even be the dean, but if you graduate not even on the dean's list, you might have an aunt who's girl bossing it up in the financial district, and now you have a job over there. You see what I'm saying? Other people, non-white people, can be just as and possibly even more capable than you, and something is that they need, well, I'm gonna get to black people needing space. Hold on. But I think what it is that you need to make sure constantly that you are living in that reality. I think that's the words I want to say. I think that you need to make it a point to make sure that you are keeping yourself in the reality where we are peers on the same plane. Because even though systemically y'all have made it so that's not true, or not that it's not, yeah, systemically we're not peers, but individually, because we're trying to break away from the system, I feel like I'm kind of muddling it, but I hope maybe you're picking it up and maybe I'm just confusing myself. But like, I don't know. Let me also, because and actually, let me tell you some things on what it is to not be an ally. Because I feel like I could say some of this for, my whole white people culture, whatever. But it's not an ally to cosplay black culture. Let me put it harshly first. Let me put it immediately from my brain. And then I'm gonna sweeten it up, because I don't know when this book was written, but she was discussing how when white people have a certain facet of blackness, and I think part of it is she's talking about like, advertising. Everybody wants to be an individual, everybody wants to be different, and whiteness, like with a certain black feature, which gets into my racial ambiguity thing, it all freaking connects. but I'm trying to be piece by piece as much as I can, but just, and how if you are white with a certain feature, if not like a certain feature, like if you're white with a big butt or something, but if you're white and like, oh, like I know how to cook, I use spices, I'm spicy white, like that is not to be an ally, because I feel like even then it's using culture as an anagram, I think. Any, I don't know. Actually, let me pick a different word because I'm unsure of that. It's using other culture, expensive culture, as an adjective. As an adjective, yes. Where it's not, it almost, okay, I won't say it's not, but it can feel like it can feel, no. It can feel like interest for the sake of self-righteousness, maybe self-righteousness, but I also want to say something as in like it's self-righteousness and like, but also in the sake of like an upgrade. I think that's what it is, as in an upgrade to yourself, because white people are told often, oh, y'all are bland, y'all are boring, and so I can see you might want to pick up a little bit from the person who told you that you were bland and boring, and feel like, okay, now I'm like interesting, like I know how to do the tango. I took a tango class. Like, is it giving spicy? But that's not. In fact, I feel as though it's literally just consumerism. It's just consuming of the culture to benefit yourself in this scenario. In this scenario, because you can really, I really like want to emphasize that in this scenario, because you can be interested in expanding your cultural understanding and getting to know other people, and grouping with all that. But I have something for you. I have something for you. I have something for you. And this is about, I mean, it's in the context of like, oh, it doesn't matter if you're black and white, but I feel like it applies here as well. Liberals make, this is, wait, let me make sure I get this right. This is philosopher Ron Scaap, SCAAP, and Ron RON. And this is his essay, Rorty, Voice in the Politics of Empathy, on this book called Contingency, Irony, and Solidarity by Richard Rorty. But this is Ron Scaap's work. Liberals may pride themselves in their ability to tolerate others, but it is only after the other has been redescribed as oneself that the liberal is able to be sensitive to the question of cruelty and humiliation. This act of redescription is still an attempt to appropriate others. Only here it is made to sound as if it were a generous act. It is an attempt to make an act of consumption appear to be an act of acknowledgement. Are you following? I'm gonna I don't know if I wanna we're gonna deep that for a second. Go back, listen to it again. If okay, everything that is true, and I will go back to it, I believe, but I want to focus on the last sentence specifically for the point that I just made about the whole spicy white thing. It is an attempt to make an act of consumption appear to be an act of acknowledgement. If I actually just started crying. This is a little outlandish, but braids, because you want. Ooh, I'm literally teetering into the white culture thingy, but it's an attempt to make an act of consumption, act of acknowledgement. I love black people. I wanna get to know black people. Like, I wanna get to know the culture, but you are. I mean, maybe I'm having a problem because it's just never gonna start in my bones. But in that book, she's like, you know, black people, we need to come up with, not to come up with, but we need to find a way to verbally express ourselves or understand. So I'm gonna try to put it into words. And I have a root to start with. Active consumption is a hem of the elegant. Where you're investing in these cultures, but you're investing so that you can get a return, instead of just investing to expand understanding and expand consciousness. In this scenario, the spicy wet scenario, walk with me, follow with me, please. Where you're doing it to get something in return. And everything but the lessons were sorry. Like I was saying, and everything else, like, obviously the last one is important, but like everything else I didn't touch on. The active description were, you know, like, and there's nothing wrong with an analogy, right? I just used two analogy back to back. I love an analogy. But it is not that there's okay, I'm gonna have to say it. Maybe I'll soften it up later, but I gotta just say it. It's sort of, there can be a lack of empathy if you cannot. Oh wait. Okay. Because think about representation. Oh my god. I'm actually getting too far, but I have to say because it's in my brain. Think about representation. I think about how if a character is black, if there's some black people, a lot of white people, they're like, I just, they used to be a ginger, or like they can't really fathom. But people of color, or black people, we always had to find ourselves in white characters. We've always had to cross that bridge because that is what we're given, and we are, through the media, we're kind of forced to find a connection to whiteness because of that, right? Where now, when you like, if it's not plated to you, think about, like, if it's not plated to you perfectly, where you can directly see yourself in it, where you can see that's just like when my grandma died or something like that, where you can see a connection to your whiteness, that it's just like, I think that this is my theory. A lot of things I'm going to say are theories. I think that white people, there's some sort of struggle where they're just not going to get it all the way. And I actually feel like I've encountered this in conversations with white people where I'm like, I can't get you to understand what it's like to, and I'm going to be fucking specific, I can't get you to understand what it's like to have the conversation about hair as a black woman. If you can't just have the empathy and say like, wow, what you're telling me is hard. If you can't see the experience for all that it is from my perspective as much as I can, because that's a big problem where I can feel like I'm trying to get you to understand rather than say what I am going through, and for you to find understanding within it. Do you see? I feel like it's such a tiny difference, but I feel like it's a difference nonetheless. Where, and maybe you cannot expect for people, because I make analogies, I do. They are functional, they work. Hopefully you get the understanding that I'm trying to give you, but you cannot expect for everyday people to take their experience and contort it in a way for you to understand. You have to find a way to, and not even to do it in your own brain and say this is like that. I mean, it helps, but it is that, I mean, actually, because I feel like I can bridge an understanding, but let me say this specific, as this video is directed towards white people, so everything I say is really specifically for white people in this video, but just be sure this is specifically for white people, because I feel like in scenarios with people with color, like, that we will share similar experiences, especially if a lot of things are rooted in anti-blackness. Best believe I'm going to have a similar experience for most things, not everything, but most things. Okay, and if you are a white person, right, what you're gonna equate it to in your brain is most likely never gonna be on the same level. And I think what it is you have to acknowledge that gap in understanding. You have to acknowledge that there are going to be blind spots in your understanding. You cannot connect everything to your brain. So that's why you have to be conscious of other understandings and seek out and learn other understandings, so that you're expanding a web that you will most likely never really connect to. And there's intersectionality in this, where if you're a white woman, if you're a gay white person, there's certain things that, like, okay, like, they don't like either of us for being queer, but there's still that facet of race that is going to differ you. It's going to differ you. Like, that's, like, I literally supposed to say, but that's literally what intersectionality is. It is how the connections differ the experience. So yes, you're a white woman, I'm a black woman, but me being black, me being a woman is different from you being a woman and being white. So we're both experiencing misogyny, but you're never going to experience misogynoir. If you don't know what that is, look it up, read into it. I mean, I have a segment for black women, but yes, because you'll learn more. Please, like, look at, don't let me just tell you everything. Like, please, like, look into it. If you, wait, so, sorry, I don't know how I picked up my voice like that, like, and I'm laughing because it's kind of like, girl, why are you bleaching stuff? Like, that was even aggressive, but also, like, I really don't know, I don't know where I was going with that thought. But, yes, I think that's where I'm gonna end this piece. I feel like I've crossed everything I want to say. Hopefully, there's so much more. I'm so sure that I actually didn't get everything I wanted to say. That's why you always have to be learning. And like I said, I hope that you watch the rest of these things. Also, if you're not white and you're watching this, like, it's actually, I'm going to put it in the description, actually, because while it is geared towards white people, there's things, like, you can pick up anything from everything. So hopefully you get what I'm trying to say. This one was a little bit long. I feel like I rambled a little bit, but, like, I literally don't think in the brain of a white person, so, like, bear with me. And I hope we kind of get it. I hope that there's a good future ahead for us. Wait, also, can I just say, and, you know, now I put some work for myself, because I'm going to have to go back and clip these two things together, whatever. But, please, oh, wait, so now I got to keep going, actually, because I got so caught up in that point that I forgot that I only told you one way, that it's not to be an ally. It's not to be an ally, to be a fetishizer. And you might be thinking, I have no preference, or I don't fucking know, I don't know, but, like, and this is what I've been seeing, is not even directly people being like, oh, I love black women, Black Lives Matter, but I feel like, wait, actually, if we were in 2020, I feel like I'd probably actually have examples, but this thought actually stems from something else, where, you know, right now, like, I've brought it up, you know, undocumented immigrants, and how they're doing all these raids, and they're taking them to concentration camps in Guantanamo Bay. And a lot of men online, a couple of men online have been like, big booty Latina, get behind me. So already not looking good. But you might be thinking, okay, well, I really hope not, but you might be thinking, okay, well, at least they're protecting us, at least they're behind, like, at least, you know, somebody's, you know, out there protecting us. Well, actually, why am I saying us? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But like us, because attraction is allyship. It can come in other places, but in this scenario, I should not be saying this. I'm not Latina, but okay, sorry. I was about to say something that it's sorry. It's okay now. I feel like it's coming like I'm laughing for a bad thing. So, oh God. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna explain myself. Oh my God. So I said I'm not Latina because, and then I started laughing because I have a playlist. Some people they'll say there's this thing where people who are Latina, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm Afro Latina," but you're not. So it's like Afro Latina without the Afro. And so I have a playlist of my songs in Spanish languages. And I also think Portuguese because Lumila's up there and she's Brazilian. So Latino languages. Yes, actually. Because there's more than... Wait. There's... What? There's Spanish, but there's dialects. Or regional forms of Spanish. But still. And so I titled it Afro Latina without the Latina because it's like a little flip. And then I don't need to... Actually... The cover is Gina Rodriguez in the music video where she says, "Niggas give me heebie-jeebies." Okay. I don't know why I really derailed. I am sorry. I am sorry. I don't know what compels me to need to carry on with all of that. Let me get back to my point. One might think, okay, at least there's like people behind them, like their support. Any support is good support. I don't know. But then, a day later, I'm seeing a different tweet. Me when I have to call ICE on the big booty Latina that dumped me. When your allyship is rooted in attraction, when it's rooted in whatever benefits you can get from the community. Because another thing with all this anti-ICE stuff is immigrants, they are the base of our economy. Immigrants, they keep us afloat. Which I'm not denying the place that immigrants have in the workforce. That's not in question. But them being gears in the machine of capitalism doesn't mean that that's why they need to stay. I think that we should... I'm not going to do it again. Oh my gosh. Actually, I can... Well, I'm trying to figure out how radical I should be. I'm going to reel it in. Let me keep going, though. Just because, or not just because, I feel like the conversation that immigrants should not be scooped up in masses and put into concentration camps should not be... I'm going to be honest, I forgot the first half of my sentence. I hope that it's still running, but it should not be based off of the fact that they are important to the economy. I think that just nobody anywhere ever for whatever reason should be scooped up and put into concentration camps and removed from their family and the life that they live, or not even if it's not a concentration camp, placed in a different, because they're not there. They might even put them in the wrong country. Put them places where they are maybe fleeing for their lives, where they're not safe, where they don't have any family or support. I don't think anybody should be put in that position. And any allyship that is, like I was saying earlier, that stems from the benefit of the person you are in allegiance to, or the people that you are in allegiance to, is not true allyship. because the second that this big bully Latina dumps this random Twitter user, now they're calling deportation systems. And it's online, it's not real. These are real mentalities every day. Oh, sorry. I thought I lost the thread. These are real mentalities that are walking around in real life. You just haven't asked enough questions to unearth them. Ooh, that's a really good sentence. Think like these, let that sit with you. These mentalities, in any situation, these right wing mentalities, these misogynistic, these homophobic, these transphobic mentalities are walking around in real life. You just have not been asking the right questions or been in the exact scenario for them to unearth. And I am not saying be suspicious of okay, because this is also going in the white allyship video. So white people, you're gonna have to understand when people are a little bit suspicious of you. I am suspicious of white men. I am suspicious of white people because systemically, you are not given any incentive to align yourself with me. So yeah, I'm gonna be a little scared. You really have to put the work in, and you just don't know if anybody. You just don't know if that. Like, if that somebody's willing to put the work in. And it's another thing where somebody can put the work in so much, but let them get in the exact point, exact scenario, exact sentence told to them, and things are coming out that you would have never expected. And so, it's not that you need to be scared of every stranger on the street. I still talk to white people. I will still say hello to white people. Okay? But when those behaviors are unearthed, not only do you need to check yourself if you are the person who's unearthing that's why it's a conscious effort. It is a continuous conscious effort to fight against white supremacy. But if you are in the position where you are witnessing this, which, if I'm going to take it from two perspectives, one where you are the oppressed person and one where you are in the group of the oppressor. If you're in the group of the oppressor, you have to clock and you have to recognize and say, you're not doing it. You're not. That was wrong. You need to figure out what's going on in there, find the root of that, and start hacking it and cutting it down, because that should never come up again. And now that you've discovered it, do better, get rid of it. Okay? If you are in the position of the oppressed, it's really not your job. It's not, you are not liable for somebody else's bigotry. You know, if you want to take up that challenge, I can support you. You cannot expect those. You cannot expect, if you're in the position who's done it, you can't expect those who are oppressed, those who you've affected with what you've said and what you've done, to stick up and work up for you. And if you are helping somebody who's gone through that, you can't expect everybody to rally behind you and say, I also want to help this person. If you are one of those people who are helping this person, I can applaud you. I can say thank you for doing the work that some of us may be too tired to do, because it's a lot. It's every day. This is, for the white person, this is your one slip up, but this is slip ups that I've experienced my whole life. You see what I'm saying? And just know it's not a requirement. It's not a requirement, but if you have the capacity, it's appreciated, because very sadly we live in a very slippery slope where if somebody can go through a slip up, and genuinely I feel like if you have really worked against the system that's ingrained in your mind, I've never been in this position, I've never been a white person. I don't know how easy they get you guys. But I'm saying this in the fear of like, they can be like, wow, I just made one mistake. I made one mistake. And now all the black people hate me. All the black people hate me. They are not kind people. And then now they've got Fox News singing in their ear, you know? And it's just very tough. Hold on, let me pause so I can think. Okay, yeah, I feel like I definitely have another take. Like I've been sprinkling the white culture thing. I think that just the basis of you cannot let consumption or your benefit, be a part of your allyship, whatever, is pretty good to stop here with, and then I can continue the idea in the, white culture, whatever thingy. So yeah, now I'm like really for real done. And again, these themes are still gonna come out throughout because that's just the way race plays. That's the way that the race boils down. So